Good morning, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Hang out, sit tight, listen to some tunes. We'll get started in a few. It's after a few more attendance points. Good morning, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. We're going to hang out for a few minutes while we wait for a few more attendees to trickle in. In the meantime, please sit tight, relax, we'll get started in just a few minutes. Thanks again for joining us for today's webinar. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. We'll go ahead and get started. Today's webinar is focusing on Enterprise Connect 2022, which came through last week. And today's webinar is really meant to be in case you missed it, right? Here are a lot of the big announcements that we made both at DTEN and Zoom, some of the big themes we were seeing at the show, some of the things that we were talking about presenting in our booth. And answering some of the questions that we may have seen in the booth. And I'm joined by an all-star cast this morning. So we've got Scott Krickerberg, our head of strategic alliances at DTEN, Nathan Shaw, product marketing manager at Zoom, John Stearns, the Zoom's team lead at Zoom, and of course, I'm Jackson Root, content marketing manager at DTEN. So thank you very much again for joining us for this morning's webinar. And let's go ahead and jump right in. So before we talk about a lot of the things that we're going to be presenting this morning, it's important to recognize that we will be presenting new features and products that are coming. They may change a little bit between now and then. So keep that in mind as we move forward. And just one other thing before we jump in, I've disabled chat for the webinar this morning. If you do have any questions, please direct them to the Q&A function. A lot of the questions we'll pull out as we go. We'll save others for the end. and others who may reach out to you after the webinar. If you do use the chat function, it will be directly to us panelists. Thank you. So today's agenda, again, as I mentioned a minute ago, the webinar this morning is meant to be in case you missed it, everything you need to know from Enterprise Connect 2022. Certainly not everybody was able to attend. Maybe you attended virtually, if you weren't able to attend in person. So the big theme for DTEN, and I think for Zoom as well, is we're talking a lot about creating a culture of collaboration in the hybrid office. So with that lens, right? So we announced some new solutions, new features. We're going to talk about the new DTEN onboard, which you've probably heard a little bit about at this point. New advanced whiteboard from Zoom. The new workspace reservations feature, and of course, we're going to talk about Smart Gallery as well, which also was definitely a big hit at Enterprise Connect 2022. And you mentioned a minute ago, we'll have some time at the end for additional Q&A. So before we dig into the real meat of the webinar, Scott, you want to tell us a little bit more about Zoom and DTEN and our relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. So DTEN and Zoom have been partners in collaboration and conferencing since 2017. So DTEN developed the first all-in-one device for Zoom rooms, giving you your camera, your microphone, the touchscreen, the speakers, everything built into a single unit that's running off a single power cable. You can connect it to Wi-Fi, and we continue to innovate. So DTEN and Zoom are aligned on our product development, on our product roadmap, bringing our shared customers all the latest features that Zoom Rooms has to offer. And that's because we are joined both in development and engineering. So all DTEN devices are optimized to provide that exceptional Zoom meeting experience. And then on top of that, our industry-leading simplicity and value allows you to not only deploy these solutions, but scale them from a small operation all the way up to the enterprise level. And that's something we continue to do to this day, both in the hardware, but also with Zoom becoming a platform with all these fantastic features and products. The DTEN devices are optimized there to also support those new features. So we'll see some of the new stuff today, and then we'll touch on some of the classic opportunities that you have with DTEN and Zoom together.
Cool. So in case you missed it, Enterprise Connect 2022. So at the top of the deck, we're talking a little bit about this theme, which is creating a culture of collaboration in the new hybrid office. This is something that we're seeing a lot in many of the keynotes at the show, from Zoom and DTEN and many other brands as well. I think this is really where we're moving towards when we talk about the new flexible hybrid office. So our focus at DTEN, and really what we're going to talk about this morning, is promoting inclusion and engagement in the hybrid office. How do we reimagine work norms and workspaces, and deploying technology tools built for collaboration that really helps to tie that all together. So a lot of the new products that we're going to talk about in a minute here, they really help to promote inclusion and engagement. It makes it very easy to engage. It makes it easy to boost what we call collaboration equity, so that everybody has an equal say, whether it's on a whiteboard, whether it's within the meeting, whether it's an annotation on a document in real time, right? So a lot of the work norms and workspaces that we left behind before we went home in 2018, coming back into the office, all those things need to change. We need to rethink a lot of these spaces. And a lot of these new features make it very easy to do that. So pretty cool stuff we're going to see here in a minute. One of the big announcements that DTEN made at Enterprise Connect 2022 was about the DTEN onboard. This is a new product from us that we've been developing with Zoom very closely. Very cool new product. In a minute here, I'm going to hand off to Scott, who's going to really talk about really what informed the development of this new product, and ultimately what allowed it to steal the show in a lot of ways.
Yep, absolutely. So as you can see here, DTEN, our onboard, the new product, was nominated for Meeting Room Innovations. and actually took home that prize at Enterprise Connect for a device that's going to bring value to your meeting room situation, not just as a standalone board, but eventually as a companion device. So that seems to be one of the buzzwords. I'm sure you guys heard it as well at the show, is companion, how our devices all work together seamlessly, right? How you can use different spaces from at home back into the office, all the way from your desk up to a large meeting room. And just that single platform that Rooms is starting to provide, right, really kind of makes the glue that increases that adoption by using the tech from your mobile phone to a Me on your desk up to a large format board. So it was an exciting product. Everything from customers to analysts, right? Everyone was coming to our booths to kind of get an idea of what we were up to with the onboard. So definitely an exciting part of the show for all of us.
Cool. Yeah, and just right before the show too, we picked up the Red Dot Award, which if you're not familiar with Red Dot, excuse me, it's an internationally recognized product design award organization. So it's huge for this product. It joins the D10 Pro and the D7 in winning that award.
So what's great about the onboard, it's a digital whiteboard primarily. So this will support the advanced Zoom whiteboard that will be released here in the very near future. And since we're not processing video like we normally would with one of our all-in-one devices, it's allowed us to kind of reallocate some of the resources of the product. And what we did there was put it into the performance, right, of the touch sensitivity of the board, how it responds to you. We're doing some great things now, Nathan, by incorporating still images and videos into these whiteboards, and we've added the muscle to the product that allows us to properly provide that advanced whiteboard experience. So this allows you to still do all of your annotation. It allows you to share these whiteboards across multiple devices. It's completely optimized both in the memory, in the performance, and that 4K screen really brings that advanced whiteboard to life. So still sticking to our roots here with that lightweight design, very slim, very elegant, and that's something we win these Red Dot Awards for as well, is our design profile. So you can see there, very low profile, very sleek and elegant, but also that connectivity. So what we're seeing now a lot is the flexible mobile type of environment is what customers and facility managers are looking for, because they can use these devices as needed, roll them into a flex space, roll it in on a cart into a meeting room. We'll be able to pair this device to the current room that you already have. And it's bringing a lot of upside and that collaboration aspect that's been missing from the meeting. Now you can deploy that across all your rooms with the onboard.
Yeah, I think the onboard really, it was a pleasant surprise, Scott, when you informed us a while ago that you were coming out with a dedicated product just for our Zoom whiteboard. And I think it really exemplifies and shows like our partnership and how strong that is, that you are creating this dedicated hardware appliance, just for our new whiteboard product. So no, it's an excellent show of that.
Yeah, I agree on that. Just to drop another comment in, I mean, the thing I love about this is there are hundreds of thousands of Zoom rooms in production around the world, right? Customers made investments in that room technology. And there's so much excitement around whiteboarding. The question has been coming up to us is how do we bring this into existing Zoom rooms that might not have touch displays? And this product perfectly, fits that use case and complements the story there.
Completely.
Absolutely. So, I think anyone that's, in this industry or kind of paying attention, we've seen the numbers, right, for several years. We know that there are a lot of rooms that are not video enabled. And obviously, as a team here, we want to help get all of these rooms kind of updated with the technology and especially that video, being able to have a video meeting. But then we know there's hundreds of thousands of rooms that are video enabled, but they don't have collaboration technology. And I think that's what's great about the onboard is whether it's a legacy Zoom room, whether you're starting from scratch and building out your plans today, this product definitely fits a mold for those rooms that do not have the touchscreen, like you talked about, John. And we know that whiteboarding, that annotation, that whole collaboration access is missing in those rooms. So I think this is a great piece of technology to be that companion device that allows you to totally bring everything up to speed as far as the collaboration tools. And now that we know meeting equity, right, is a big thing, collaboration equity is also in that conversation. And across the DTEN product line, we're allowing you to access, something like Zoom Advanced Whiteboard, whether it's from a me all the way up to the onboard, and really makes it extremely flexible for the customer to deploy a touchscreen, a collaboration environment, whether it's a new room or a legacy room.
Cool. And I think that that's a nice segue into talking a little bit more about the new Advanced Whiteboard, right? Which we saw a lot of at the show. I think that was probably a lot of attendees at the show's first experience with this new feature.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and kind of frame this up, right? DTEN and Zoom, we both had a booth at the show. We both had an onboard, an advanced whiteboard open and working in both locations. And I thought that was a great presentation, Nathan, for someone to add a sticky note or write a comment right on the board in your booth. It shows up in the DTEN booth. We're collaborating back and forth. And I think that was something new that a lot of customers or a lot of people in our tech space haven't necessarily seen in real life with their own eyes. So it was a very impressive demonstration. And your feedback from customers or some of the demos you gave would be fantastic.
Yeah, I think a lot of customers weren't expecting us to have a product like this. When you say Zoom Whiteboard, they're automatically kind of revert back or assume that very basic whiteboard that we've always had. So telling them that we're coming out with this whole new product, the whole new fully featured whiteboard and we're partnering with DTEN on this hardware, they were shocked, and that we're actually coming out with it like in the next month. They're really impressed. And yeah, when they actually got to use it, and fortunately your booth was right behind ours and they could actually see, it working on both boards at the same time. And we weren't in a meeting. And just a reminder, you don't have to be in a meeting to use these whiteboards, right? This is a whole separated product. Yeah, we got tons of positive feedback. When's it coming? How much is it? Which I'm going to answer these questions later, but yeah, a lot of good feedback.
I think you're touching on something too, that a lot of the conversations I was having with folks that were in the DTEN booth, and even in the Zoom booth too, is that this product, it kind of changes the way that we think about meetings as finite Zoom meetings. It opens it up to really, you're talking about collaboration sessions that can be started at any time, picked up, where you left off. This product really enables that whole ecosystem of worldwide collaboration with your hybrid teams.
Yeah, and also workflows, right? Because I think that there's been a very specific workflow, which we're kind of touching on, which is create a meeting, right? Invite your team to that meeting, start a meeting, and then open a whiteboard once you're already in a meeting environment. And this kind of lets you flip that completely 180, and the meeting is no longer a requirement. So this collaboration environment can happen at any time in any place. So instead of thinking meeting first, now we have this new workflow that's collaboration, and it allows you to have your entire team on this whiteboard, everyone sharing that file, they're opening it and closing it as they need to. And it just gives you an entirely different universe of collaboration and how to work as a team without really driving it from a meeting. And I think that's important, that you can actually spend time on a whiteboard collaborating, you get your notes, you get your feedback, and then you go to a meeting to talk about it face to face. And that's just a completely different aspect in workflows that I think a lot of IT managers and facility managers and in creative groups, right? We see design teams wanting to jump all over this. We see a lot of customers that are excited about the opportunity to kind of drive all new levels of collaboration with our joint product.
So do we want to go ahead and watch a video? Great. Yes.
Yeah, can start anywhere. But ideas become something bigger when collaboration happens. Zoom whiteboards allow you to collaborate in real time and continue the project after meeting with your colleagues. It's easy for people anywhere to contribute to the same project, like escalating a call to a Zoom room. Collaborate with innovative features that make it simple for hybrid teams to interact in new ways, like using your tablet in companion mode. The easy-to-share and easy-to-access persistent Zoom whiteboard means you can pick up right where you left off. Collaborate together in a Zoom Rooms for Touch. Add sticky notes, images, and annotations where needed. Or you can fully contribute to projects on Zoom Whiteboard, on your laptop, your mobile device, in different locations. The Zoom Rooms for Touch whiteboard works as an extension of your virtual canvas, allowing groups of people to work on the same project together. And because Zoom Whiteboard's infinite canvas is virtual, users will be able to interact through a range of devices. Walk into any Zoom room and share your content wirelessly. It's advanced collaboration using the same easy-to-use and reliable video technology you know and love. With Zoom Whiteboard, get more done together.
And I picture that exact thing right at the end of that video is us giving this, this webinar on the new whiteboard. All the participants are cheering for us, right? Because of what an innovative concept. And anytime you can get a group of people around a table all applauding for your presentation, you did something right. And great to see, that we really buckled down to bring this to market as quickly as possible, right? And we do need to give huge kudos to the engineering teams, everyone behind the scenes. We've been slaving away at this for months to try and get this to market as quickly as possible, because I think we all agree that this truly is a game changer in how you can work and collaborate, right, in this new hybrid environment. So, everything in that video, Nathan, even though it's months old, it's real now, right? And it's happening soon. It's super exciting. So, I'd love to turn it over to you now to kind of give a little more detail on some of the features and benefits of that whiteboard, and I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Scott. So the new Zoom whiteboard, a few key points here is, Zoom decided to create an entirely new product, the Zoom whiteboard. This has nothing to do with the original Zoom whiteboard. We've built it from the ground up, and it's, as you've seen in the video, right, it has multiple use cases. It's going to work across, our entire ecosystem of products. It'll work hand in hand with all of our other features. It is not just for meetings. So key points, this is not the original Zoom whiteboard. Point number 2, this is not just for Zoom meetings. We mentioned that. It's a persistent solution across the Zoom platform. You can jump in and you can start ideating like anytime without anyone else on your own Saturday morning, figure out your brainstormed idea and then send it out to the team, Monday morning, whatever. It works perfectly with Zoom meetings, Zoom chat, Zoom rooms, and, across all of our hardware ecosystem too. And obviously Zoom onboard go hand in hand. This is, it's a very important strategy for Zoom to enter this kind of new hybrid working environment. So, when we've talked to customers, like what's missing, and, how are you going to start working in this new hybrid world? We found that a lot of them are using tools like Mural and Miro and Lucid Spark, right? And that's how they're brainstorming and collaborating. And that's one of these key tools that we found are missing from our platform. So, I mean, Zoom literally went all in. We hired a team of 40 plus engineers. We have a whole new design team, a couple, 3 product managers, 2 product marketing a whole team, right? Just for Zoom Whiteboard. And so this is a key part of our re-entering the office and hybrid work strategy. It will work on laptops, as you saw in the video, mobile devices, Zoom Rooms for touches, web client, right? So pretty much across, if it works in Zoom, it'll work on a Zoom Whiteboard. Can we go to the next slide? And some of these differentiating features that differentiate us from our previous whiteboard and align us a lot closer to what's in the market today, just calling out some of these features. So infinite canvas, it's persistent. You don't need to be in a meeting, right? That's actually, it's a big deal because most everything is pretty meeting related with Zoom. In this case, it's separates itself there. Easy drag and drop images or just upload images. Sticky notes has been a huge request. And in the future, we'll have smart sticky notes where people can like vote on the sticky note and ideas, stuff like that, future features. Shapes and connectors. So really cool shape and connector system will be available at launch. Easy sharing, so you can share it. As long as you have a Zoom account, you can share this to anyone else, right? Is that my only slide?
Yeah, I think the persistent, we're kind of downplaying that feature because it really does reinvent the way that folks collaborate virtually over Zoom.
Yeah, brings together asynchronous and synchronous, collaboration, right? There are going to be times where project teams meet, for a weekly, check-in, but they're going to be, collaborating in the meantime and updating sticky notes and color coordinating them, according to project flows and building those diagrams and flow charts out, so it's definitely changing and the way that people work throughout projects.
Yeah, and it goes hand in hand with like our entire platform already. So, we're known for meetings, we have an awesome chat platform. We have an excellent partnership, obviously, with DTEN. And so this just fits, we'll be able to do some really cool things. So like if you're in a Zoom meeting and you want to share the whiteboard to the participants, you can instantly open and share a whiteboard and give them certain levels of access if it's edit or view only while you're in a Zoom meeting, right? So it will work perfectly with our platform. If you want to if you're collaborating on your own and you're not in a Zoom meeting, you'll just send it out via chat, right? Or a chat group, you can send out the whiteboard. And obviously, like working with DTEN, and like they said, I mean, our hardware teams work together to make sure this stuff just works. So it's a perfect fit, right? Also for our customers.
Cool. With that, let's talk about another star feature of Enterprise Connect, and that's Zoom Smart Gallery. We were showing this throughout the show on the DTEN D7, and it's such a cool feature. Folks that walk by, it really made people start to really think about the way that everybody is represented in meetings, and certainly the way that we've become accustomed to sitting around a table, and this it ties technology and just sort of our meeting dynamics together so seamlessly. I just think it's really a great feature.
Yeah, absolutely. And the idea behind Smart Gallery, right, is meeting equity. So regardless of if you're remote, if you're in the room, where you're sitting at the table, Smart Gallery and using the camera AI and the Zoom Rooms feature, right, allows everyone to be seen equally, heard equally. So it's definitely a huge driving value add to that return to the office and being able to execute hybrid work. So John, you're on the front lines of this new product feature, right? So what are you kind of hearing from the customers, and what kind of feedback did we get from Enterprise Connect on Smart Gallery?
Yeah, I mean, this has been a huge hit since we initially launched it last summer. And, I lead our enterprise segment for Zoom Rooms. So I pretty much speak to, Zoom's biggest customers all day, every day about what their return to office, looks like and what their concerns are. And this comes up in 100% of conversations. It's, how do we take these new hybrid meetings where we start to transition people back to the office, but we're still going to have people joining in from home? And how do we make sure that it's a level playing field and that everyone is represented? I see it as an evolution of a lot of the camera tracking innovation that we've seen in the industry over really the last couple of decades. You started off with manual pan tilt zoom cameras and camera presets, which we still support. Customers still like that sometimes. About 6 years ago, we started to see a lot of auto framing and speaker tracking, which was fantastic at the time, right? It was a better way to represent people in rooms. But a lot of that was designed around, okay, Scott's doing the talking right now in the room, we're going to zoom in on him, and we lose visibility of everyone else. And that was fine at the time. But obviously, throughout the pandemic, everyone got so accustomed to seeing this gallery view where they can see all of their teammates' faces, regardless of who's speaking, and get that nonverbal cue from someone. That's really where customers started coming to us saying, we need to maintain that as we get into these hybrid meetings, right? And we had a lot of customers saying, we want to have our users bring their laptops into a conference room, so there's a camera on each of them. And so we kind of took a step back and said, hold on a second, there's a better way of doing that will make any of us have a heart attack in the industry about thinking about bringing cameras, additional laptops and sources into a single meeting room. And so that's really where this was born from, was how do we use the technology that's already in these rooms, use even just a single camera to frame out all of the individual participants in these rooms and represent them more prominently. And so showcasing, sending more video streams from each Zoom room has been a huge hit for us. And even taking this concept and scaling it to multi-camera rooms, right? The ability to send multiple video streams from a single Zoom room. I've got at home here a D10, D7, and I've plugged in some additional USB cameras to it. And so now, we've always supported multiple cameras with Zoom rooms, but the ability to send up to 3 separate camera streams simultaneously from a room as part of this Smart Gallery multi-stream experience has also been a huge hit. You think about a room that has a podium speaker, you want a camera on that person the whole time, but you might want a couple of different camera angles on the audience as well. And instead of switching between those cameras, we can send separate camera streams simultaneously. So there's a lot to this, and it's certainly something we've been iterating on since we launched it. Lots more to come on the Smart Gallery and multi-stream as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely seeing, right, both of these products, both of these tools, being super important, right? They're the two of the most timely features, right, we can think of, because we know just the idea of a meeting or a conference, it has changed, right? It's in pre-pandemic, it was usually one person, right, who was requesting that meeting, inviting people, delivering the message, right? It was very kind of focused on one single person who was driving that meeting and doing most of the talking, right? There was one person that had something to say or had something to present, and these two features just kind of throw that whole idea of what a meeting is out the window. So the equity of everyone being seen and heard equally, everyone having the same tools to collaborate equally, right? This is definitely a huge step forward in productivity and how you can use video and these tools, right, to just kind of elevate the entire experience, and for us to react in the time that we have to develop all these things. So we just have a new essence of how to collaborate, right, and how to hold a meeting, and we're seeing adoption and productivity just kind of go through the roof as far as how many users are accessing the technology or using the tools, right? There's the percentages, under 20%, and now we're seeing over 80%, right, of employees using this technology on a daily basis to be more productive.
Yeah. I think this is just, both of these, both the new advanced whiteboard, the smart gallery functionality, two things that were not even on the radar 2 years ago, right? And it's a testament to the partnership and co-innovation we have with DTEN, because if you think about it, some of these products have been out, like the D7, for a few years now. These products were built before, the new advanced whiteboard was even a concept. Smart gallery was not even a concept, but because of the foundation of how we built these products and innovated together, we were actually able to launch these new, totally transformative features and make it retroactive and available on the devices customers had already invested in. Like, that's a foreign concept to, Nathan and I, who've worked for other, companies in the industry where, you launch a new feature and then it was only going to be available on the latest endpoints. And if you want this new feature, you need to refresh your gear and buy the newer stuff. This is fantastic because we went back and enabled all of those existing rooms with these capabilities. So it's, really, again, a true testament to the partnership and the foundation we laid when building these products early on together with D10 that, we're in a good position to deliver on these.
Yeah. One thing, that it says on the slide here, right, is there's no real manual control requirement, which was also something we all dealt with, right? When you wanted to hold a meeting, you technically needed a meeting expert, right, in the room to use the controller or control the camera or, right, share content. Even those, concepts a couple years ago, there are a lot of people uncomfortable with kind of controlling that, right, driving it and being the person responsible for all of that. And a lot of that guesswork is just completely gone now, right? These are things that you can control them remotely, turn them off and on remotely, right, from an admin level, and they just work, right? It's the AI, it's the technology, right, in both of our systems that are just doing it for you, and they're auto framing, they're detecting, they're kind of managing these rooms for you. And I think that's super important to bring up is that the learning curve, right, is so small here. A lot of this stuff happens on its own, and that's a real testament to Zoom, as a platform, bringing that ease of use into every meeting situation.
Yeah, I was actually surprised when I saw it first kind of working that it does just work. Like, it doesn't mix up the people or jitter back and forth or anything. It like sees the people, separates them, and puts them in the screen, and done. It just simply works.
And reacts to the meeting, right? If you start off a meeting with two people in the room, it's going to showcase those two people. But if 5 minutes later, a couple more people join in, it's dynamic. So it will take those two additional people, it'll frame them in. If one person leaves and goes to the bathroom, it's going to, take it back down to 3 separate video participants. And so it really is hands off for the users once this is enabled. And it's literally just, as soon as this became available, it was a toggle or a feature right in the admin portal. No additional license to issue, no additional product to buy. It's just this, continued innovation that we put into both of our products to enable this stuff. So customers that invest in Zoom and D10, know that they're investing and in the future we'll be able to deliver even more, on top of this type of stuff.
The speed to market too, I think, was pretty impressive. I mean, currently, I believe we have some competitors talking about similar features. I don't think there's anything out that's quite like this yet. And the same thing with Whiteboard, I didn't mention, but we're planning to launch this next month. We've been in beta now for a couple months. So we're going to GA it late of April. And it will be included, back to this value, it's also Whiteboard like Smart Gallery. It's just included. It's included, across the board in the product. So, yeah.
Cool. With that, I think another really cool new feature that we showed a lot at Enterprise Connect is workspace reservations. This is something that we actually built into the D10 booth, to where most of our product demo stations were all set up on our workspace reservations map in the booth. So actually, I'll show a demo of that here now.
Hey everybody, my name is Jackson Root. We're here in the DTEN booth at Enterprise Connect 2022, and I want to show you the new Zoom Workspace reservations feature using the DTEN D7 and a DTEN Me Pro. Let me show you how easy it is to check into your devices. Let's say you have a new flexible hybrid office, you've got flexible hot desks, phone booths, and meeting spaces that you're making available to your employees so they can come into the office and check out a space for the day, for an hour, for 20 minutes. It's very easy to use, it's very easy to do. Simply touch the space that you want to reserve, decide how long you want to reserve it for, and then using your mobile device, you simply scan the QR code, click to reserve your station, and you can see the DTEN Me Pro over here, and it's now reserved, and it has my name on it. So everybody will know that this device has been reserved to me. And now I can come up to the device and I can scan the QR code to check in, and instantly this device will become mine. Whether it be for an hour or for the day, you'll see the UI will update to my personal background. I now have access to my contacts. I have access to my calendar. You can see a number of my meetings are already on the calendar here waiting for me. I can now start a meeting, join a meeting using my personal Zoom handle, and when I'm done, I simply check out of the device, and it's ready for the next team member to come and reserve this station for the day. For more,
Yeah,
cool. So you can see that we started. Oh, sorry, Scott. I was going to say that we started with what is essentially a step past the kiosk, which is, if you were to touch the workspace button you see here on the right, it'll open up that map. And that's where I started that today. So go ahead, Scott.
No, I think, if you want to talk about, jaw-dropping demos, I think workspace reservation definitely fit the bill at the show as well. It's not something that, industry vets, haven't seen before. But I think that the ease of use, the deployment, the price point, right, the accessibility, that's really what is jaw-dropping, when we show this to integrators and analysts and our partners, the ability to roll this out, deploy it at scale for the price point that a Zoom Room license and something like a Me Pro, right, can cost. Is pretty revolutionary that Zoom was able to bring, this entire ecosystem of workspace reservations to the market in the time they did, right? And like you keep saying, you don't have to pay tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars to deploy these type of solutions. This is part of the Zoom Rooms platform.
Yeah, just to reiterate on that, the price point is basically included, with the Zoom Rooms license, and you get all this functionality. So, we have customers that they're having to go outside and use a third-party vendor, and they're paying, tons of money a month for this exact same, or probably not even as good of a solution. When this is included, and obviously just works, because it's integrated so well across our platform. So yeah, excellent value there.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about how we approached workspace reservation. Obviously got a lot of feedback from customers that they were transforming their workspaces, during the pandemic in anticipation of return to office. And a lot of them were reducing dedicated workstations, right, and moving toward a hoteling or hot desk concept for individuals. And yes, there are apps out there and different platforms that you could buy that are point solutions that, that offer this, that are not cheap. The way we approached it, we showed a lot of this in Jackson's demo there, where you can have it running on a virtual kiosk in the office. You can walk up to the desk and reserve it ad hoc or check into that desk. But the other really cool thing here is, this is all done from the Zoom admin portal. You upload your floor map for each floor, you drag your rooms over, you drag your desks over. It's super simple to set up. But there's even more experiences that users can identify and reserve workstations, whether that's individual desks or rooms. So they can, for example, go as part of this public beta we've had going on since the holidays, they can go to the Zoom web portal, they can go to Workspaces, very easily search for a date and time if they're planning on going into the office, and they can make a reservation. They can access that same interactive map we saw in the kiosk right from the Zoom web portal, and users can schedule from there. At launch here in a couple of weeks, our general availability launch, I should say, since it's been available in public beta for a few months, we'll take that experience that's embedded in the Zoom web portal, that interactive map that's available across all these experiences, and build it right into the desktop app on the Zoom client. So they don't even have to leave the Zoom client to make these reservations. So again, consolidating tools so they're not going here, this tool for whiteboarding, this tool for hot desk scheduling, and a separate tool for digital signage, et cetera. This really pulls a lot of the different components of the Zoom platform together. Digital signage is another really good one. We can pull in the real-time visibility of these floor maps into our digital signage playlists that are playing throughout the building as yet another visual indicator for users to look up, see, and locate a place to get their work done. Wayfind, if they're visiting an office they've never been to, they book a desk there at the kiosk, how do they find that, right? They can pull up their own Zoom clients, they can look at digital signage, and they can find their way to that desk. And of course, we saw the check-in desk experience, here. So there's a lot that's tied into this. And if we want to go back to that, the kiosk slide there's another thing worth mentioning there, because this is kind of a bi-directional or by-application type solution here. We actually launched our virtual kiosk in conjunction with DTEN initially as a virtual receptionist tool, right? We had customers saying, listen, we're not ready to fully go back to the office. We're going to have certain buildings or floors where we're not going to even have receptionists in there. How do we support this? We built this product specifically for that. And you can run it today as a virtual reception. You can run it as the workspace application, or you can run both like you see on the screen there. We've expanded on the virtual reception side of that as well. So the ability to customize and configure up to 6 separate buttons, right? So if you have a guest or visitor come into a lobby, they can tap those buttons. They can get connected face-to-face with someone in a totally different building, or receiving those calls from anywhere. So we've built a lot into this kiosk concept, and I love the building on the foundation that we had already brought to market with the virtual receptionist by bringing these capabilities to the touch device. And this could be a D10 Me, or even one of the new the onboard, for example. So if it's just a workspace kiosk where people are booking and making reservations, might not necessarily need that camera on it. So that's where the onboard is super helpful, especially navigating larger floor maps and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we didn't necessarily deep dive into all the use cases for onboard, but you brought up another one, right? Another great use case. So, when a space, does not need to be video enabled, but you still want the technology, that we're delivering, especially into a lobby, an entrance into a building, the onboard is the perfect product, because just, deployed as a kiosk gives you access to that map. And that's something that we've seen a lot of customers kind of migrate to, especially, at the price point that we can bring to the table, and a single Zoom room license and $2,500 for a companion product, especially as smart and as feature rich as it is. We're seeing a lot of great feedback from the customers on just about all of these use cases and the hardware to accompany them. So to kind of recap with the D10 product line, everything from the 27-inch Me Pro all the way up to a 75-inch, D7 Windows device. This whole adoption in a hybrid environment, I feel like both of our companies have done extremely well to bring to the market as quickly as possible. So your entire lifestyle of a hybrid worker, from a couple days at home on a Me Pro, having access to those what some consider expensive conference room tools to be compacted and concentrated and on your desk at home is fantastic, all the way to the journey, returning to the office into a large conference room with large format devices and things like Smart Gallery on them. So I definitely think, all the hard work will pay off in helping our customers prepare for hybrid work. They really see the Zoom Rooms platform, they see the devices, and I think it clicks instantly. Wow, look at all the amazing things that we can provide to our employees and our facilities, right, when we deploy these tools and all these joint solutions.
Yeah, so a lot of exciting stuff between the whiteboarding, Smart Gallery, workspace reservation, and Enterprise Connect. I think Zoom's launched a lot with the platform lately, with our events services and platform, our new contact center. But for those folks that focus on rooms and workspace and whiteboarding, there was just as much interest in this side, and this part of the booth was slammed. And as mentioned, it was very helpful to have the D10 booth right by ours, because we had people back and forth and we were collaborating back and forth. So very exciting event. I think just, on a personal note, I've been working with Scott and Jackson now for about a year and a half since I joined Zoom. And this was the first chance to meet a lot of peers that I've been working with in person. So it was a nice step back into the world of, kind of trade shows and conferences and seeing people. And it was, a breath of fresh air to be doing something that felt a little bit normal in the industry for the first time in quite some time. So it's great to see you guys.
Yeah,
I second that.
You guys as well. Absolutely. So obviously, this is not the end of the innovation, right? In the development, we're going to keep, providing the use cases, right, for hybrid work. That's really where we're concentrating our efforts into being the leader and providing that technology and that platform for hybrid work. And what we'd like to do now is just invite you guys for a consultation, a one-on-one. We have obviously representatives from Rooms. John, you and I, Nathan, we talk to customers all the time, right? And get them dialed in on the product and how they can best deploy all these solutions. And we'd love to talk to everybody one-on-one. So there's a QR code here conveniently located where you can use your mobile device there, scan that QR code, follow the link, and it allows you to set up a meeting with some of the experts on these technologies and use cases. So lastly, I just want to recap on some timelines. I think that's usually, some of the questions here at the end of these. So things like Smart Gallery, kiosk mode, those are available today with the Zoom Rooms license. The D7 is supporting Smart Gallery, multi-camera Smart Gallery, our D10 Me and all those devices can be your kiosk, it can be your map, it can be your virtual receptionist. And then Nathan, the advanced whiteboard, right? Looking forward to that at the end of April.
Yep.
And then I think around the 1st of May, you'll be able to deploy that on board with the advanced whiteboard solution and really turn up the heat on that collaboration use case as well.
In workspace reservation, it's been in public beta, meaning any customer has been able to play around with it and test it and deploy it since the holidays. We'll graduate that to general availability here shortly. So, all this stuff is not 6-12 months away. We are in the midst of it. We're probably inside of 33 days from everything we showed here from being completely available to all of our customers. So it's an exciting time. It was good timing to have the Enterprise Connect show to coincide with the launch of all this stuff.
Absolutely. So appreciate both of you guys joining us today. Thank you very much.
Great to see you. Thank you all for joining. I look forward to some follow-up conversations. Take care, everyone.
Definitely.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.